Alright guys, I just cleaned off the top of the piston with the wire brush, and now I'm going to take out the valves. And all you have to do to remove the valves is pop the retainers off and then pull the valves out. The retainers are in there, and good boy. Just hook that onto there like that, and the retainers are at the bottom of the valve right there. They just pop up like that, and then they pull out of the slip. So we'll just put the camera as close as I can for you, and we'll see if we can do the exhaust valve right now. There it is. That's all you got to do. Okay, so now the valve just pulls out. Isn't that cool? And we'll do the same with the intake valve. There it is. We should just pull up with our fingers. There we go. Let's look at the valves. So the intake valve looks good, which is normal, and the exhaust valve is pretty carboned up. So now I'm going to just take that same grinder and we're going to clean the valve seats, lap the valves, and grind a little bit off the intake valve. I'll show you that when I get there. Thanks guys. Okay, we're going to continue cleaning up these valve faces. They're looking better already. I'm going to continue on with this with a light. I didn't hardly touch that at all. And then we're going to clean the orifices out, I guess you could call it. And we're going to clean the valves on the grinder over on the bench grinder over there. Okay, the light's bad, but this is the exhaust valve. Just cleaning it up like this. Mask down. You have to wear a mask because these little wires can pop out on you. Alright, go back to the bench here and see if they're any better. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. So now I'm going to lap the valves. We'll come back when I'm ready for that. Okay guys, I am just going to take the smallest amount off this intake valve. It's always a little intimidating to do this. Probably enough. I only needed to take 3/1000ths off, so now I'm just going to measure that. I think you saw me measuring the valve gap. Okay, now we're going to lap the valve. I just took some lapping compound, a little bit on my finger like that, and you just brush it on. I've actually got too much on there, so I'm just going to take some off, and you just want it on the face right there. And this is abrasive, so when you're finished, you have to make sure you get every single bit of this off. You don't want this flying around inside your motor. It's like sand, right? And all we're trying to do is improve the surface area where the valves seat. I did the same thing here. Sometimes I lick the bottom of this. Now this sometimes is really hard to get this going because there's friction. My valve lapping tool is probably 30 years old, so all you need to do is get back and forth, and you hear a grinding motion, and then it gets lighter and lighter. It's like starting a fire. There we go. Little Dirt Bike and Mike on Road King are good at this. There we go. Hey, the furnace just clipped off. I'm gonna really clean this. Oh, look at that. Yes. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so let's check the valve gap. The tappet is at its lowest point. We'll just make sure that it goes up. And there we are, top dead center. And I'm at 6 here. And it just, see that? It just fits. That's perfect. Alright guys, I'm going to put this back together again. I'm going to make sure I really clean up this exhaust port here. That's filthy. Look at that. Can you see? There. Okay, something I've been meaning to buy myself for years, and I just never seem to do it, is a valve spring tool. So I use these long needle nose pliers instead, and it works. You just have to be patient. I don't know if you can see any of this. Maybe. So now I've got the pliers underneath the valve retainer. And you just have to find the hole that's in the side of the retainer. And that's it. Good. So now I'm just going to put the head back on and we'll come back when I do that. Okay guys, I've done a nice job of cleaning the head. And let's just pop it back on to the motor. Okay, we're going to torque that to about 200 inch-pounds. The book says 145 to 165 or something like that. We'll check that. Okay guys, let's see what the compression is after we did the valve grind. I'm not hoping for miracles, I'm just hoping for an improvement. £80. So from about 58 to 80 pounds. That's good. Alright guys, I think the last time you saw, I was just putting the rewind back on, and I've just bolted the tank and reconnected the throttle linkages, and I'm just putting some #1 fuel in it. About a half a tank is good. So I'm not going to prime this motor this time. You know how, if you watch my channel, you know I sometimes prime into the carburetor. And I'm not going to do it this time because I want to know if the engine has enough compression to suck the gas up and do its thing. So this is the controls. There's no controls on the handlebars. I've removed the belt so things don't get too exciting. And I'm just going to pull on this a few times just to see where we are. Hey, that's a really good sign, guys. I'm impressed. Now it won't stay choked. That's probably an adjustment. Gosh, it even turns off. Well, that can't be much more successful than that, guys. So I put this elbow on there too, just so that the people that are doing the rototilling don't breathe in the fumes. That makes quite a difference. So I think that Alfred will be happy with that. Now I just have to figure out a way to get this pulley system working a little bit better. It partially engages all the time, but right now they've got a bed spring in here. So I think we can work on that. Alright guys, we've got the little lady in red running good. 3 pulls when it's cold, 1 pull when it's hot. Got the exhaust out the side. And now of course we're going to work on this belt drive. So what I want to do is I want this idler to relax all the way down. At the same time, this spring action on the handle pulls it up tight enough. But right now, that doesn't pull it up tight enough when we're at that adjustment right there. The belt's the right size. I tried a smaller belt and it creeps forward all the time, and a bigger belt just sits there and spins. So what I'm thinking is this spring right there, sorry to move around so much, is an old bed spring. I've got some bed springs in here, and that looks an awful lot like a bed spring to me. So I'm going to try 3 or 4 different kinds of springs here from other jobs and ones that didn't work out when I bought them. And I'm going to see if a longer spring can put tension plus an idle condition on the tiller. God, I talk too much. Alright, I've got this idler pulley just touching the belt, and I moved the motor forward just a little tiny bit, about 1/4 of an inch, so that I could have some adjustment. And I ended up using the old bed spring. It was the right length, but now I've actually got some stretch in it, and down here it tightens up pretty good. It wants to creep forward when idling, but it was a happy medium. I think somebody added this big fat pulley on here years and years ago. So anyway, Lady in Red is all done and ready to go.